since we last recorded, Paul Millsap has signed with the Brooklyn Nets. And before recording the show, just 2 minutes before hitting that record button, Lamarcus Aldridge is heading to Brooklyn as well. Have the Nets assembled the best team of all time? KD, Kyrie, James Harden, Paul Millsap, Lamarcus Aldridge. They have Blake Griffin still, Joe Harris, Patty Mills. I mean, is this the best assembled team in the history of the NBA? Riv, I think you have a lot to say. What's on your mind?
Yo, oh my God.
I think you're more upset about the fact that LA didn't join the Bulls.
No, yeah, I'm not even mad that he went to the Nets. I'm just mad that he was talking about how he wanted to play with Chicago and he didn't join us. And that was another guy we missed on.
Smacked you all in the face.
I wouldn't say smacked, but it's just like another guy we missed, And I'm not really like upset because it's like, guys at the end of their career, they want to go win a championship, So at this rate, it's either LA or the Nets, and LA doesn't really have much room for another guy. So I guess Brooklyn would be the next best spot. So, we're competing with those teams. But alluding to your question, I think they are getting there. It's tough to say right now because they obviously haven't played a game. Even with the big three in Brooklyn, we only seen 11 games from them, and I believe they went 9-2, only losing to Cleveland. So, we haven't seen this team fully healthy. But I think, you look at the roster, you got KD, either in most eyes, number 1 or number 2 in the league right now. You got Harden, in most eyes, a top 5, top 6 player in the league. Kyrie is a certified top 15 player in the NBA. Then you got Joe Harris, one of the best shooters in the NBA. Patty Mills, who's a really good shooter, one of the best in the NBA. You got BG, who kind of, brought his career back to life with this team. And then Paul Millsap is still a good rotational piece. LA, from what we last seen him, he's still a good player. So I think, this team, and then the rookies they brought in were pretty solid. So this team is definitely looking like it can compete with, 2017 Warriors. I think we all can agree it's better than the 2016 Warriors that went 73-9 off talent alone. So this is definitely going up there into the hallway with the great teams, the Bulls and the 96, the 2017 Warriors. This is definitely getting to that comfort zone, but we still have to see them play and be healthy.
I think they are trying to assemble the best team of all time because they know that that's what it's going to take.
To do what?
To win a championship. Because they saw with just KD alone, obviously he can't get the job done. Obviously he gave a good attempt at it, but
the Lakers saw the same thing with LeBron,
it's
losing in the first round.
We still won.
Wait,
we still won last season. In 2018, he took him to the finals.
Wait.
Arguably the worst team to go to the finals.
Sir, when you say they need all this to win a championship, are you really just saying they need all this to beat LeBron, but you don't want to say
just
that?
a championship, because obviously they couldn't get past Milwaukee, didn't even make an ECF with these guys.
He's played 7 games. If KD's foot wasn't on the
I hate the foot
on the line,
he would have
made that shot. They won the game.
That's all right.
What, he had 5 minutes in OT?
Oh, I'm just saying, if KD's foot was half a size smaller,
so what you're telling me is if
they win the game.
If a grown man wasn't the size that he was, they would win the game. That's not
his feet, not his height.
And people pretend like he didn't airball the game-winning attempt.
I didn't pretend. I remember that.
That happened.
That's like it happened.
No, I guess, but you made it sound like they got destroyed versus the Bucks.
They didn't get it done. That's all I said.
I mean, it was Game 7 OT.
And KD didn't make a bucket.
Did LeBron give a fight? I mean, he subbed out the game when they were down.
Paul George did.
LeBron subbed out the game when they were down 8 in Game 6 and didn't come back until they were getting blown out again. Mm-hmm. He definitely quit on his team that time. He quit. So KD, at least he didn't quit. He airballed, but he didn't quit. I would rather have a guy who's going to fight to the end for his team than a quitter.
Okay, so to continue my statement, I don't believe that they're the best team of all time. So regardless of that. So they are trying to, but I don't think they are.
Who's their
Still
best?
Have 2017 as the best team ever. You get a 73-win team, and you just plop in Kevin Durant onto it. It's simple to me. That's going to win you a championship, and it won them back-to-back, almost won them a third. So they are trying to, but I don't think that they're going to surpass that because obviously you need championships, and that Warriors team won that year and the following. And if KD and or Clay, I think even if Clay is healthy, I feel like they still could have won that series against Toronto. So I do believe that they're trying to, and they need to make this team the greatest team of all time, but it's not.
The 2017 Warriors are obviously the ones that we're kind of debating against, but I think because the Warriors are so recent, we look at them. But other teams, the 04 Lakers with Gary Payton and Karl Malone, with Kobe and Shaq, obviously they did not win a championship. When we're talking about strictly talent and assembling a team, that was a lot of talent on one team. You look at the 86, 87 Lakers with Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, Michael Cooper. Those are all guys that are Hall of Famers. Yep. You look at the 85, 86 Celtics, Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Dennis Johnson. I mean, there's so many guys, Danny Ainge. There's so many guys there, and the talent level is absurd. So there are so many teams that have an absurd amount of talent in NBA history, and that's why it's hard to say if the Nets are the best assembled team in history. But let's just talk about Golden State.
Are you serious? You were serious when you said that.
Serious about what?
You said that it's hard to say they're not the best team assembled?
I think it is.
Really?
Yeah, because, for example, you guys both use the example of the 2017 Warriors. Let's go KD versus KD. They canceled each other out.
Steph and Harden canceled each other out.
Steph or Harden, they canceled each other.
Cancel?
KD versus KD?
Okay, no, KD versus KD canceled.
And Steph and Harden canceled.
Why does that cancel?
Because they're like two. They're like
they're MVP.
They're MVPs. They're both. If you got, it's either Steph or Harden. People think it's like 50-50. So it's like they kind of.
I don't know why people think that, but
I don't know either. But I'm just telling you what the media thinks.
You know why they think that? Stop playing.
I don't.
And then the third, you go with Clay or Kyrie. Who are you going with? Really,
Kyrie's better.
Kyrie's better, but I think Clay fits that team better.
For sure.
You go with Kyrie, then on to the fourth. I think Draymond beats out anybody.
It's not close.
Anybody on the Nets four. So is it going to be Blake? Is it going to be Millsap? Aldridge? I think Draymond beats them out. But then we get into rough territory because Andre Iguodala versus Millsap. At that point in his career,
I'll take Iggy.
I'm taking Iggy over
Blake?
Anybody.
Blake?
I'm taking Iggy over everyone.
Over what I just seen Blake do this past season?
What we seen Iggy do in 2017.
Yeah, bro, I'm taking Iggy.
Even that whole run, 2017, 2018, we can even go back to 2016. Iggy just in Golden State in general,
he was different.
He was the glue. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure. I think I'm taking Blake. I'm taking
over
Blake.
Iggy?
Blake just averaged 25.
Even if you don't take
2018, he averaged 25.
No, we're talking about Blake on the Nets.
Yeah,
I know, but Blake on the Nets in the playoffs, he was averaging 15 a game.
Yeah, he's a solid.
Because he was the second option.
Even in the regular season, though, he was averaging close to 10. Iggy was he wasn't what he once was. We all know that.
I don't know, man. He was still taking the toughest time.
All right, let's look at these stats.
No, even that though, after Iggy it gets dry. For the Brooklyn, it doesn't. You still got Patty. You still got Joe Harris.
You still got Bruce Brown, who might not even get that much burn anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't get
Millsap,
dry.
Lamarcus Aldridge.
Sean Livingston. Let's not disrespect him.
Yeah, Patty Mills is better than Sean Livingston.
What I seen Sean Livingston do.
Stop.
You serious?
Patty Mills is better.
Patty Mills is better. And then who else did they have? Patrick McCall or Kayvon Looney?
David West was on that team. He was okay.
Yeah, I think I'll take Millsap over that version of West.
Looney, It was a bunch of cool guys, but it wasn't like
we have to search up Iguodala stats in that run though.
The stats wasn't. It's not going to be.
Well, let's search it up. Him versus Blake. So while Riv and I are talking, Drew, search that up real quick.
All right.
Yeah, it's Iggy versus Blake. Let's see whose stats is better. But I do think this is one of the best teams assembled of all time. And the interesting part about this roster is that you have a bunch of veterans. You have Mills, Harris, Bruce Brown, Kyrie, KD, Millsap, Aldridge, Blake, Harden. But they also have a bunch of young guys. They drafted Cam Thomas in this past draft, and that guy's a bucket. I mean, Cam Thomas, I thought he was the third best scorer in the draft. We'll see if that holds true. But then drafting Kessler Edwards, who before the draft we both thought was one of the hidden gems in the draft. Daron Sharp, who's a young center, and Nicholas Claxton still. I mean, they still have a lot of young guys on top of the star power that they have. I do think that this is the best team assembled of all time. And they will win the championship this year.
Heard that before.
I mean, you can say, I've heard that too because I said it last year. But obviously injuries happen. But I think the great part about this roster is that even if a Kyrie gets hurt, which obviously he's prone to do, Harden, KD with Millsap, Blake, Aldridge, Mills, and Harris can win a championship. I think even if they miss two guys, not two of the top guys, but two guys of two role players, like let's say they're missing Harris and Bruce Brown or Harris and Millsap, I think anybody can step up on that roster and pick up the slack.
Yeah, and the reason why I didn't say the teams in the 80s is because they didn't have two top 6 players in the NBA. I mean, aside from maybe LA, people still consider Kareem, top 10 player in the NBA. And of course, Magic was Magic. But I think Boston, it was Larry Bird and then a bunch of All-Stars. I think 2017, was probably the best. 04 Lakers, I can probably put. I think the 0-1 team was better in my opinion, but the 0-4 Lakers, you could probably put them up against any team that's ever won the championship and be comfortable with that matchup just because of how dominant Shaq and Kobe was. But yeah, this team, like you said, has a lot of depth and they can lose a rotational guy to injury. And unlike the Warriors, where in 2019, Clay went down and KD went down, and they were starting Alfonso, I forgot his name. But they didn't have a lot of depth. With this Nets team, Kyrie goes down. You still got Patty Mills who can come in and not obviously replicate what Kyrie done, but he can still come in and contribute. You have a lot of depth. Harden goes down. You still have Kyrie, and then you still have a lot of depth. So this team is really deep aside from their stars. So I think this definitely is one of the reasons why they're the best assembled team.
So
Iguodala, you have it?
I do.
Okay.
All right, so Iguodala in the 2016-2017 in playoff run, 7.2 points, 3.2 assists, 4.1 rebounds on 19% from three and 46% from the field. Now, Blake, last season, he averaged 9 points, 5.9 total rebounds, 2 assists, I'll give him, on almost 39% from the three and 53 from the field.
Similar. Okay.
Pretty similar, but Blake was pretty efficient.
So
Blake in the Milwaukee series averaged 12, 8, and 2, and played great defense on Giannis. I think. Well, as good as you could play on.
He played
Giannis.
good defense.
So they're similar.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they're similar. That's why I think even Millsap is similar to Iguodala too.
I think just Iggy's defense, his switchable defense is what kind of like puts him
but
over.
in terms of his offensive game, we know that Millsap and Blake bring a different dimension. And if LA is anything close to not what he once was, but what he was in San Antonio before getting traded to Brooklyn.
I mean,
I
when
think
he was on Brooklyn,
he was pretty good too.
He definitely.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Lamarcus
LA.
Aldridge.
Oh, okay.
I think you can put him over Iggy too. I mean, Iggy, I know.
Wow, you're disrespecting Iggy.
I'm not
a lot.
disrespecting Iggy. I just think I think his
Obviously,
impact was more so of a locker room leader, and that's huge. But I think it was more so of that.
I just think he didn't need to do what he used to do because Kevin Durant walked in the building.
Exactly.
You gotta
That's
remember,
true.
This is the Finals MVP. The guy you think rightfully deserved this Finals MVP. This is a guy who who impacted.
I mean, 2015 was different though. 2015 Iggy versus 20.
the
17
intangibles was the same though.
That's
'Cause
why
all they were
I think he
asking
was
him
more
to do
so of
was
a
play
locker room leader.
defense.
Because at the time he was 33 and 34. Blake right now is how old? Blake right now is 31. I think even though his injuries have kind of riddled his career, I think him and Andre Iguodala is debatable. But then if we're not talking about him versus Iggy, like you said, after Draymond and Iggy, there's a huge drop off for Golden State, and that was the problem with them is that during that run, when KD went out, when Clay started to go out. When we saw Curry in the finals versus the Raptors, we saw how bad their depth was. Even with Boogie Cousins there, we saw how bad their depth was starting to become. But I think the Nets have assembled one of the best teams, if not the best one in NBA history.
I mean, this will be KD's second greatest. He has two of the greatest teams ever assembled.
And now it seems like James Harden is going to win that championship, man, and be the Finals MVP.
What the?
He's gonna be the Finals MVP.
Get a load of this
guy.
He's
gonna get something Curry has never gotten in his career.
Didn't you just say in the Discord chat that you don't put too much mind into the Finals MVP? I catch you every time.
I never said that.
Yes, you.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
You always say I say things when I don't say them.
All right, I'm gonna go in the Discord chat and I'm gonna grab.
I never said that.
You said you don't put too much in the Finals MVPs.
No, I said that Harden probably won't win it, but I said KD will win it. I didn't say I didn't put too much stock.
KD's gonna win it.
I said I think they'll knock Harden for not getting it if KD gets it.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily knock him, but you went there to be a sidekick, or did you go there to, show that you're?
I mean, he's 1B.
What?
KD's 1A, Harden's 1B.
Interesting.
And in terms of who has the ball all the time, we know who that's going to be.
But in terms of who's the guy, we know who's the guy.
James Harden in Houston was always tired late in games. Now that he's not going to be so gassed, he's going to take a step up. And James Harden is going to show you why you fear the beard.